I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Happy Saturday. So, question for you guys. I think a lot of people have Netflix. I do. Hopefully you guys do as well. I want to give you guys some recommendations to a couple of really fantastic series that I've been watching on Netflix here that I think you guys will enjoy as well. It's this new golf documentary called Full Swing, where they follow a whole bunch of PGA pro golfers throughout the season. And it's very similar to another one that Netflix has got out, which was fantastic as well, called Breakpoint, or Point Break, Breakpoint, I think it is, on the tennis pro. Same kind of scenario. They follow a group of professional tennis players throughout the circuit. And also, too, I think one of the biggest shows they've ever had on their on Netflix series is that F1 Drive to Survive. So they're all kind of the same. And you don't need, on this Full Swing, you don't need to be a golf fan to enjoy this show, because it's not even really about golf. Golf, of course, is the backdrop of it. But it really goes into detail on what these high-level, best-in-the-world athletes go through. The mental attitude you have to have, the work ethic, the discipline, the ups and downs that are continuous, even with these elite. They're all multi-millionaires, but the pressure that these guys are under to get to the top. And you can translate this to a lot of areas of your life. It's incredible motivation for me, because I've kind of gone through, not nearly to this extent, but a lot of this growing up in my younger days playing hockey and into competitive bodybuilding, especially with these one-on-one sports like tennis and golf and Formula One drivers, where team sports, you have that too, but not as much. You can hide behind the team a little bit. The individual sports like golf and tennis, I think, are much higher pressure type positions for sure. But I think you guys will really enjoy this. You really get the insight. A lot of people look at professional athletes and they're a bunch of overpaid millionaires, and some of them are, and some of them are prima donnas and get into trouble and all that other stuff. But you know, it's interesting to see the background stories of these people when they were young, and the work ethic and how they built and moved up the ranks. You know, it's such an up and down golf, sport. 1 minute you're on top, you're winning tournaments. The next month later, you're losing tournaments. You have a lot of self-doubt. You're wondering if you're ever going to win another tournament again. The pressure starts to mount. Talks about that Brooks Koepka. You know, he started off on the PGA Tour as a young guy with incredible success, won 3 or 4 tournaments in his first couple of years, and is now on a bad drought. And you start to question yourself. Even these elite pros do. There's a guy on there in it. You know, he's a middle of the road for PGA. He's ranked like 72nd, and you know, he's kind of very humble, quiet, soft-spoken guy, not very aggressive at all. Doesn't even seem all that motivated. You know, he's like, well, somebody has to be the 70th ranked PGA player. Might as well be me. Has never won a tournament, but you know, make no doubt about it. Being ranked 70th on the PGA Tour is still an elite athlete. He must be doing something right to even get on the PGA Pro Tour. But I think you guys will really enjoy it. I sure am, and I really enjoyed the tennis one. I'm not much of a tennis fan, but it really captivated me. Just the day-to-day workings of how these guys get through. The practice, the training, the travel, just the mental toughness. And you can translate that to anything. I mean, they could have a show on a professional chess player, and I would probably be interested in it. So I really highly recommend you guys watch that. You know, as I say, so much in life is your attitude and your work ethic. You put in the time, put in the work, and good things will happen. You might not, you know, become a pro golfer or a pro tennis player. That's pretty tough to do. But if you aim high, keep the work discipline there, you'll be surprised at how far you get. And, you know, I've translated that from sports into real estate career, and I think, you know, being involved in sports and competitive sports translates well to other areas of your life once you have that work ethic and that mental toughness that you need. And you're not born with this, as they'll say in this show. A lot of it has to be developed. Some guys are a little more mentally tough than others, but even the top pros, you know, they've had to work on that and develop the ups and downs that they have. The winners kind of persevere. So it's like the story I tell you guys in the end of my book here, Along for the Ride. Let's revisit that. At the end of my book, I talk about that story with the Navy Admiral, Special Forces guy by the name of William McRaven. He was a four-star admiral, and at his commencement speech, he did a commencement speech at the University of Texas, that Lock 'em Horns speech that was quite famous. You can look it up on YouTube. But he talked about that sugar cookie, the story of the sugar cookie that I tell you guys in my book, how life is going to throw you curveballs no matter how good you are, and sometimes it's through no fault of your own. That it will. And he talks about during Navy SEALs training, or BUDS, which is basic underwater demolition, how, it's 16 weeks of heavy training, waking up at 4:30 in the morning. It talks about the inspection that they'll do. You get up, you have to have your uniform pressed, your bunk made, and how, these guys that are supervising you, these captains and the drill sergeants, will always pick something, that isn't perfect, even though it is. Maybe that crease in the bed isn't quite right. And what they make you do is what's called the sugar cookie. You go out into the cold San Diego surf at 4:30 in the morning, it's freezing, and then go roll around in the sand until you become a sugar cookie. The worst part is, though, you have to do the next 10 hours of brutal training in that shape, soaking wet, cold, and covered in sand. But the message is that that's what life is about. That sugar cookie thing, they all get it. Even if the bunk is made perfectly, they want to test you. That's what life will do. It will test you. And a lot of people drop out of that BUDS training because of that, because they think, I didn't do anything wrong. My uniform was perfect, and now I'm a sugar cookie. They quit. That's what life will give you. They will give you those sugar cookie moments, and it's the ones that understand that it's life and move through it. I get the sugar cookie all the time in my career. Deals that fall apart through no fault of my own, inspections and all kinds of things that can go wrong. These professional golfers make a few bad shots, thought it was right, they become a sugar cookie. But the winners get through those sugar cookie moments. It's what life throws at you. And the sooner you understand that and how that works, the better off you'll be. You'll build that perseverance to keep moving through. So check out those shows on Netflix. I think you guys will enjoy them. I sure did. You can learn a lot from these professional golfers and professional tennis players on the work ethic and the mental attitude and mindset, the mental strength that these guys have to achieve, that high level of success on those pro tours. But you can translate this to other aspects of your life, your career, staying in shape, spending time with your family, whatever. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, have a good weekend. I'll see you guys next week.